that's kind of where the idea of getting a sawmill came into play. So able to take the trees from all around us, from the community, from people we know, and take them from that raw state into finished product and deliver it to other people as well as to the family. So Drew Hansen Made Woodworking. I've been doing part-time woodwork now for about 5 or 6 years. Really, I've always had an interest in woodworking, you know, and then along the way, kind of fell in love with the idea of woodworking from the source all the way to the finished product. So my father growing up was kind of a jack of all trades, so learned a lot from him on the basic carpentry side. Had a little bit of training in school growing up, middle school, that type of thing. Fortunate to still have a shop program when I was coming up through. So fell in love with machines at that time. You know, really enjoyed the capabilities of all the different machines. But beyond that has been just baptism by fire, jumping in and taking on projects that continue to push your abilities. I think I've always enjoyed it. What kind of changed for me was when we finally moved and fell into a space that afforded me to kind of expand and get a little more serious with it. And that's when the change really happened for me, when I was able to get a couple more machines and really jump into it and be able to build more than one thing at a time, get multiple things going. So it's kind of a funny story. I never thought I would have a sawmill. I always wanted one, but figured it was probably a separate rabbit hole to go down that wouldn't ever make sense for me. But as I grew in my woodworking journey, I ran into a buddy from our church that we went to that also had an interest in woodworking. He was going down the challenging side of starting to mill with a chainsaw mill. So when the two of us got together, we said, maybe it does make sense to look into getting an actual sawmill. So some quick Google searches later, found Woodland Mills, really loved the high quality look of the machines. So after talking with the company, it sounded like a great opportunity to jump into, and haven't looked back since. Have been pleased with the product ever since putting it together and taking it out on the road. So I have the HM126. It's probably 3 years old now, so 2022 model. We went with a trailer knowing that we didn't have any other assets in terms of moving logs. So if we were gonna move the boards and the slabs, we were gonna have to cut them on site and most likely haul them off that way. So also part of the adventure of it as well, you know, having the trailer takes you all over the state really, and it's been a lot of fun that way, getting to take the family on the adventure with us. Like they say, once you get a sawmill, you won't have to ask anybody for logs. We've had people tell us on a weekly basis that they've got trees that have fallen, they're planning on taking trees down, they know somebody, so it's really been just through the word of mouth, and once you go out to one person, they usually know somebody else that has logs, so it's more than we can handle on a part-time. You know, we wish we could attack every log that somebody said they had, but we just not enough time in the day right now. That's part of the fun of getting these logs from various sources. It reminds me of one guy we did a job for was actually hauling old growth pine out of a river. So we have, you know, hundreds of years old pine that he was going down with his four-wheeler and hauling them up all covered in mud, and just the, you know, the beauty that's exposed in those and being able to pass that on to somebody. The hickory is my favorite for a couple reasons. One, it kind of opened my eyes to the beauty of hickory and the grain. I really wasn't tracking like how nice of a wood it was, but it also reminds me of like one of our earliest projects with the mill, and it was incredibly heavy logs that were very difficult to access. We spent a whole day rolling them off the property, just Neal and myself with a couple cant hooks, and then, you know, just using pure physics to get them up into the trailer. And looking back on it, still don't know how we did it, so it's good memories in that. I think we're still drying a lot of portions of it. Other people have grabbed some of it, but you know, one day maybe we'll turn it into a table. This is actually, the butt end of some maple that we slabbed up. This was actually too large for our mill, but Neal was able to salvage it with his chainsaw, so we're finishing up flattening it on the CNC and sanding it. So kind of making use of the whole tree, even the portions that were larger than our mill. So that actually is going to be a piece of wall art. Somebody has already laid dibs on it, and they're gonna hang it up on the wall. That's why we went so thin with that one, to reduce some of the weight. I jokingly posted once, I think, that when I did one before selling it, that it would be a good piece of wall art, thinking that nobody would ever really hang something that big, but yeah. I might start putting some clock hands on it and sell them as clocks, This is a couple pieces of maple that were given to us from a friend at our church that we attend. Had recently purchased his first house and was taking down some maple trees on the property to clean it up. So we loaded them up in a truck, brought them here, actually to the house, and milled them here. And they've been drying just about a year. Finally cleaned them up, running them through the planer. And really impressive grain to look at. Each piece, even though it's all from the same tree, just has such variety. Like, it's hard to imagine. This could be all kinds of things. I know right now, like charcuterie boards with this type of grain are really attractive because it's such a centerpiece, but you could also break it down into stock to make like small coffee tables with or something like that.
Or do you have a kiln?
So at his house, he has a makeshift, it's basically a what do you call it? Not sunroom, greenhouse.
Okay.
Greenhouse, so he loads it in there and it accelerates it quite a bit. And then we do have another friend that has recently built a sauna slash kiln at his house. So we've started experimenting with some smaller pieces that we can kind of one-off dry to. Yeah, I mean, he's got probably 15 stacks at his house where he does most of the kind of the sales side. So when people come, they go there and pick through and yeah. So you've probably seen this guy in a lot of my videos. This is Neal Manning, who's been a partner with me ever since the beginning. Really was the one that kicked me over the edge to get into the mill side of things, and it's been a lot of fun since. So
it's been a lot of fun just taking the idea of making sawdust, and just like Drew explained earlier, taking it from the log, raw natural form to the finished product. Each log has its own unique beauty, and it's been a joy not only to see it for myself, what lies inside of each one of these things, but then to help others, new friends, to come to experience not only the beauty of each piece of lumber, but then to help them visualize their own creation, whether it's furniture or art. And I get to be a part of that in Woodland Mills. I've been very pleased with the quality, that how it's built, the materials that it's used in order to build the mill, and then the helpful add-ons like the ramp and all sorts of tools, additions that help the job run more smoothly, and then make the finished product capable, make it a reality. Like a lot of people, we just enjoy tinkering with our hands, and I was camping with my son and friends at one point, and sitting around the fire, my son was whittling, just a knife in hand and a little piece of wood, and I thought, well, I like that idea, but I want it to be much bigger. And then it wasn't long after that my work had trees come down on their property, and rather than see it go to firewood, I wanted to see what more could be done with it. And from that point, that triggered something inside of me that really enjoyed taking trees to logs into boards, slabs, lumber, and then taking those pieces of wood and material and seeing them come together. So I've been able to make a few things for our own family, some furniture, some coffee tables, end tables, that sort of thing, but then also help people in the community also to realize their visions and dreams for making their own furniture or their own charcuterie boards, or maybe their own hobby business on the side. And it's just been enjoyable. It's almost therapeutic. I didn't realize how much it was to go outside, not only work with my hands, but then to see something productive and fruitful come out of it.
What would you do with a board like this?
So yeah, as some sort of pine, I'm going to guess yellow pine, but don't quote me on that. It has a lot of functionality, a lot of utility to it. For this I would consider it a smaller log. It's probably less than 12-inch diameter. You actually could make larger lumber from it. This is where you get your 4x4s out of smaller pieces rather than the larger logs. So you could easily make 2x4s, 1x6s would be great if just for any sort of paneling, shiplap, anything like that. And it's functional bookshelves. A lot of people make bookshelves, and poplar and pine are some of the best ones for it because it's lightweight. It has some bend to it, so you can put lots of big heavy books on there and not worry about it falling.
We're fortunate to have a lot of pine on our property here, and a lot that need to come down. So I have been working on a 12x12 shed in the back that I'd like to get finished at some point, potentially for drying, using to dry and store wood. Also have built a trail around the back of the property, and I would like to kind of give some aesthetic fencing around that just to make it look good, and give the wife and kids a place to walk around on our own property. So.
How big is your property?
2.5 acres, roughly. We actually, we rented up the street and had friends that lived here. And when they moved out, we said, that'd be a nice place to live. And it had the shop on site already, so that was a huge piece, but it was a bit of a compromise of a little bit of a neighborhood feel, but also had the woods behind us, so we could do things like mill your own lumber on site.
The fun of it, if you were to get a tractor tomorrow, what is the first thing that you would buy?
I think we would go with the largest mill we could find. Probably I don't know if it's up to 136 now or the 130, but yeah, you know, we've encountered more logs of that size than I think I ever anticipated. Without a tractor or something to be able to move that stuff, it would make it tough to have, you know. But with a tractor, I think something of that capacity would be a lot of fun to really get those much wider planks. There's a lot of people that have a demand for stuff over 2 feet wide, so it'd be fun to get those. I think number 2 would be the stump grinder. I'm envious of the stump grinder videos that I see that Woodland Mills has, is that you leave a lot of stumps when you're cutting down trees. And, you know, it's been a great 3 or 4 years now with the mill. And as we've said before, the quality has stood for itself from the moment I put it together and all the holes lined up. You know, there's probably 500 holes and bolts here that you have to assemble yourself, but doing that type of work's fun when it's precision and everything lines up and it comes together. And we literally have not had to tweak a bolt since the day we put it together. And this thing has taken some abuse with a windstorm and all kinds of stuff, and it has just kept on kicking. The engine fires first pull every time we do it, and the upgrades that continue to roll out that make the saw that we've had from the beginning even more effective, more efficient, and enable us to do great work. So it's been a pleasure to be a part of the Woodland Mills family, and to be able to talk to real people. When you send an email or a phone call, real people are on the other line, listening, hearing your concerns, and always willing to drop what they're doing and help. So we appreciate it.